Hey guys, what's going on? Antelope Audio did it. They released yet another product. Just the old one wasn't even dry yet on the front bezel, the Discrete 4. Now we have a Discrete 4 Pro and no longer a Discrete 4. The price went up from $1,100 or $1,099 to $1,495. Well, what's going on here? Hey guys, and I'm recording this through an Antelope Audio Zen Queue USB that I just received, and I'm already obsolete. Yeah, was supposed to be the latest one. It is quite good, but if you hear some gremlins, some sort of that digital static that plagues some interfaces that my RME doesn't have, that's what it is. So I could apply a little bit more aggressive gating and so forth, but this is really just about the content. So anyways, just to show you my chain here. What chain do we have? The gate is doing this. Suddenly, so I probably would have to reboot it. That happens very, very rarely. Just happens now, to be fair. And I'm going to try to be fair with them. So who are we dealing with here? Or what are we dealing with here? Well, first of all, so this is a revamp, and yes, a lot of devices are going to be obsolete. That's how Antelope Audio rolls, but it is an improvement. So let's just talk about the improvement. What is new? I'm not going to talk about the Discrete 4 so much. It has two instrument inputs and has two in the front, instrument inputs and mic inputs and line input combo, and in the back you have a line and mic input. So a total of 4 physical inputs. Not a lot, same as the Zen Queue. But what one of the big differences is, and I'm going to point that out right away, it's two big differences. First of all, you have this matrix here. And this matrix is very similar to my RME, and which is important so you can route signals properly. For example, I have an external headphone amp because the Zen Queue didn't quite cut it for me, and then my external is much better. Connecting it via SPDIF and ADAT, all that works, but I can only get my computer playback, my computer sound. So I can only route the computer sound to it. I cannot route, and that is so strange, I cannot route my guitar input, for example. So I can't, for example, listen to something on Amazon Music or YouTube and jam to it on my guitar. That doesn't work. That worked in Motu, that worked in Universal Audio, that worked in RME very easily, because you can just mirror everything to digital out, and you can't do that. And so when I called them, I got a very unapologetic answer. Well, this is only the more expensive interfaces have that. You need the matrix. You need that matrix. Well, here is the matrix. It's included. Awesome. They call it virtual patch bay. RME calls it the matrix view. Well, that is great, but why the Zen Queue not have it? Why is the Zen Go not having it, and so forth? There was this Discrete 4 Synergy core that replaced the Discrete 4, about a year and a half ago. And now it seems every year and a half there's a new device replacing the other one, and I'm hearing that the Discrete 4 is already not getting updates anymore properly. It's already being abandoned, and that's a big issue on Gearspace. There's like tons of people complaining one after the other how Antelope screwed them over in that regards. But the people that are happy are the people who buy the bigger units, the converters, that basically don't rely on software integration so much and just rely on good conversion, good hardware. And I think that is the strength of Antelope Audio. Where they're not doing so well is that customer support, where it needs software, where it needs constant updates. So not a standalone box, a hardware box that just functions. No, if it's integrated with an OS, with changes in the OS, Windows 11, macOS Monterey, or anything where it requires just more finesse and more, thinking through it. Maybe that is not their strength. Or is it? Let me please know. I have my own experience with it, and I would probably agree with it. I'm going to be doing the Zen Queue testing USB pretty soon. I'm recording this through it, by the way. So this is done through the Zen Queue, and let me show you this here. So, check 1 2, check 1 2. Isn't this great? What a nice game. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Isn't this great? What a nice gate. I said, so I probably have to reboot this. There's something off here. My settings are not completely crazy. On one more time. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Everything else works fine. We got the tube child here. If I talk a little bit louder, and I'm following this up with an Opto 2A. So, but the little digital noises that you can hear. Let me turn up my amp 49 dB on a REV 20. Yeah, these gremlins are not there in the RME, and these gremlins are there with the guitar inputs, those are very weak. You have to max them out. The guitar inputs, you have to go to 45 to get like a signal that on the Mode 2 Ultralight, you just get instantly, that goes up to 75 or so instant. Even the RME that doesn't have that much gain, just so much cleaner and fresher on those instrument inputs. It just sounded flat. And yes, I am in high Z. I'm doing everything right. It just doesn't have a punch. So that's a very interesting conversation to have. But I noticed right away. I play a lot of funk guitar and a lot of that percussive stuff. I was like, where's my tone? Where's my tone? So anyways, that's what I noticed. I don't know if that's going to be the case with the Discrete 4 Pro, because the Discrete 4 Pro has a new, yes, wait for it, I'm scrolling down. It's got new converters. So it's got new ADDA converters offering up to 130 dB, and I think the previous had 127. So a little bit of a difference, and they're coming from the bigger interfaces. So that is good. So maybe we're getting some better quality there, even though we're already told it is already industry leading and the best of the best. Big plus. I'm mixing negatives and plus. I'm jumping back and forth because this is really just like an analysis. I don't have the unit in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 headphone outputs and independently controllable. RME doesn't do that. It has 2 bit tweak included and 37 effects included. I'm not a fan of these effects. So if you're new to Antelope Audio and if you think you're going to be rocking and rolling with these effects constantly, they're hard to access. The gain staging is difficult, and they frankly don't sound as good as the real deal, nor the other plugins. With few exceptions. I said that before. The Marble White Ottawa is awesome. Generally, the guitar effects are pretty good. The EQs and especially guitar amps don't wow me at all. There's a couple of them in there that are good, but don't think just because you get 37 effects or if you get the entire effects library that you're going to be, ooh, I got everything. I don't need anything else. No, I wouldn't use that too much for tracking, and I would probably not even print with it. Just one bass amp and one bass cabinet. It's usable, but with those high Z inputs, it's nowhere near, doing soft tube through my DAW or, doing, the Eden amp or like the emulations from Plugin Alliance. Nowhere near it. So let's talk really quickly about who is on Antelope Audio. Why are people having so many issues? So what we should do is let's give them a call, right? You want to know who they are? We can call them. That's right. We can call them.
Hello, and thank you for calling Antelope Audio Customer Support. Before continuing with your call, please make sure that you have read our privacy policy.
Privacy. Let's make sure everybody knows we're British.
On our website. Don't forget to visit our support page and check the available online materials that may relate to your inquiry. We'd like to inform you that this call will be recorded for...
All right. So it's good that they have a phone line and you have the impression that you're talking to some boutique, British-based with that accent. They hired this actor there, this voice actor, to give him that sound. And no, you are calling. Let me tell you what you're calling. You're calling Bulgaria. Southeastern Europe by the Black Sea, near Istanbul, and in the south, in the west, and Romania in the north, Moldova, Ukraine, those are in that region. All right, but don't worry about it. They're part of the European Union, so all good, right? I think so. I don't think that's a big problem. It's just like, if some people think like, oh, it's a British European company. No, they are in Bulgaria, in Sofia, the capital, and I think that's cool. Support a emerging economy that's relatively new to the European Union. Let them grow. That's all good. But there's a time difference when you call them. Emails take a few days to get a response. Chat is not easy to get a hold of them too. But the phone line always gets answered by, not a British accent, by Vladimir, or Denis Siplenkov, or Levan Sagishnavili. No, I'm making this up. Those are my favorite arm wrestlers. No, it's usually the same guy for me, and he is, how should I call it, unapologetic. You must upgrade to the more expensive one. Yours does not have it. You got to get used to that in a way. It's kind of interesting to see that we don't always have to bend backwards for, our customers. That is an American thing. Hey, how may I help you? I'm so sorry to hear about that. They are more like, it does not work. I have not heard about it. I will research. I will call you back if I find something. Goodbye. Right? So that's been my experience. Basically, out of 5 questions, 3 I was told, well, it doesn't have it, and that's that. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's that. And the other 2, I kind of answered myself, so I wasn't really needed to call them. And I'm probably going to return to Zen Queue, but I don't look forward to calling them. It's a weird feeling. Also for the Edge solo mic, is like, is there a tracking number? No, nobody needs a tracking number. We've always, nobody ever didn't get it. And it was like, well, okay, but here in the US we do it with a tracking number, please, right? No, we don't do it like that. I don't know. Anyways, all good. It probably sorts itself out. Good intentions, but it's different. So be aware of that, because in this day and age, if you buy into a software ecosystem, and make no mistake, you're buying into a software ecosystem, you better be prepared to dance with them. Their dance is going to be, we're taking your money for a year, and then we're going to update. And then we're going to see where you are. We want to know where you are, and then we're going to do something else, because we got to keep milking. All the companies are doing that. Plugin Alliance, Universal Audio, Avid. Well, I'd be interested in it, to be honest. If the converters are really that much better, if the shielding from these digital gremlins is gone, yes. If the headphone outputs have been improved, yes. But wait a minute, am I already falling for the marketing? Well, maybe so. I'd be interested in checking it out. So far, this is my second run with Antelope Audio. I don't think it's terrible. I don't say that. I would not write that in a gear space discussion. But for me, the noisiness, some clicks, some pops, sometimes it disconnects, some driver issues. There's something with all of them that comes up 10% of the time. So it's not ruining every session. It's working, but it's not as stable as Universal Audio. It's certainly not as stable or easy to use as Motu, and it's not as rock solid as RME. The plugins are not as good as Universal Audio. Nope. Care and work and things have been going into Universal Audio plugins for a long time. You don't see that with Antelope Audio. They're done by Overly Loud. That's the name of the company. And so you just don't get the same thing. It's more like a shoe-in. It's more like a selling proposition to get people hyped up. So they're trying to do everything at the same time. I'm going to pull up the key features here. What I think also is cool that we got Thunderbolt 3 and USB 2.0. That is nice. Gives you a lot of options. I wonder how the drivers are coded. The drivers on the Zen Queue by now have been improved. So in macOS and Windows, the latency is not as terrible as it used to be. I say terrible. Average, I should rather say, but wouldn't stand out like Motu or RME. More like in the Universal Audio realm. And I'm talking about running a session with native plugins. I'm not talking about the DSP stuff. There's no latency there. So it has 2 DSPs and 1 field PG array. System requirements is not bus powered, which I think is good because that introduces maybe these gremlins. Yeah, so that is my quick checkout of Antelope Audio and their Discrete 4 Pro. Imagine Discrete 8 Pro. Let's check that out really quick, what the difference here is. That looks pretty cool, to be honest. $19.95. Might as well go with that because you're still on a tiny Discrete 4 Pro interface at $1,500 for the price of less than an X4 from Universal Audio. You're getting, let's say we got 2 in the front, that's the same. I love the knobs in the front. Yep, and then you got 3 to 8 in the back. Reamp out. Do we have reamp out on the 4? If I missed that, that's bad. Nope, there's no reamp out. So the reamp out is a feature that normally the Zen Tour has. And that's pretty cool. You run something that fits that fits into a guitar amp, and then you can reamp. That's pretty cool for some sessions. So I would almost say, without having tested both, the world clock is double. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I would get this one. Yeah, that makes more sense. At least you have 8 mic inputs. So I will leave you with this. Is it worth taking the risk to getting a still fairly affordable for the feature set unit? Or are we just too jaded with the quality of the lower or mid-tier Antelopes and the support that stands behind it? I encourage you to hop on the forums and talk to actual owners. Some are burnt out, some aren't. I'm more testing these, so I'm not burnt out. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm happy with my RME, and I love my Mode 2 Ultralight. That's the one I kept. But I love testing them. I like to see where it's going. I think competition is healthy. And I think pressure on companies is healthy. If something is not right and people speak up, a good company will address it, and the bad ones will disappear. Hopefully, Antelope Audio won't disappear. There's never a guarantee for that. Also, a question, maybe the chip shortage from the Japanese plant made it impossible to keep producing the Discrete 4 Synergy cores. That's why they sometimes do like these upgrades. It happened with the Focusrite. We went from the 4 to the 4 Plus. That was a needed supply chain issue. So I apologize for gremlins and clicks and pops, and also for not using pop filter on this mic here. So the audio quality is not the best. This is just a check-in video. And yeah, by the time you're seeing this, probably the first units are already shipping or have been received. Please, if you're an owner of this unit, please let me know how you feel. Is it really that much better than your previous unit? I can just only say, let's hope so. All right, Massive Beats out.